Hi guys, it's Julie the Oracle here. So I'm doing another special reading. So I hope you enjoyed the Halloween reading I did. It went a bit long, so I'm trying not to do that this time. I'm going to keep it a little shorter for the next few readings, the long readings I'm going to be doing. But I've decided, since it is the Day of the Dead on November 1st, I want to do a Day of the Dead reading. But basically it's a departed souls reading, and I'm going to do some oracle and some messages. As you can see, I've laid out 6 cards here. These are my long readings, but even though they're long, I really don't want to go over an hour. I try to keep them below 30 minutes if I can. I know people don't have a lot of time to, listen, and some people don't have a long attention span. So it's going to be kind of important for me to try to keep it down a little bit. So I'll give you a trigger warning. Sometimes I know some people can be very emotional when it comes to losing their loved ones, and then getting messages from them can just bring up so many memories and feelings and things. And I understand if you need to keep some tissues nearby if you want to cry. I get it. I've gotten a little emotional myself, so go ahead and heed warning on that I will be talking about different things, and if I need to go to a deeper place, I will. But also, take what resonates and leave the rest. Because some of these messages are for you, some are for other people. A lot of people are going to watch this over the years, and when they do see it, somebody's going to come by and get a message 5 years from now that nobody's going to understand here and now. So, one of you is going to show up and go, I needed that message today. So it's going to be current for you. With that said, let's get into it. So I'm doing reversals and stuff on this today. Not a problem. I'll turn it around if you need to see it. So first up, this is the Two of Wands in my Ghost Tarot deck. And I love using this deck for this one. I do have a cute Ghost Tarot, but I tend to go more serious on this, but these images are just hauntingly beautiful, if I might say. And technically, I'm doing this on Halloween night. But we're right on the cusp. The veil is thin, and I wanted to do this for all of you. So with that being said, Two of Wands. I get this card a lot. But on the departed souls, what messages do your loved ones come through? So I asked the departed souls to step forward. And I'm trying to connect and have them reach out to whatever messages they wish to send to you, their loved ones that are still living. Memories, advice, or if they just want to say something funny. I don't care. If I get any channel messages, I'll be sure to just throw out the weirdness. But so with the Two of Wands, we have a guy here. We have this spirit, and he's being lit up by what looks like the sun, and it looks like the evening sun. To me, it's almost like a sunset. It's got those beautiful colors of sunset in it. And he's looking at the globe. Most people would tell you this is planning strategy. Someone's wanting to move, but maybe it's not. I've thought about, before it's come off as people wanting to move, and there may be somebody wanting to move. Sometimes the most simple explanation is the explanation for at least one of you out there. But in this case, you might be making moves, not like actually moving. You might be moving and shaking and, in your job or, in your life. You're making progress, you're making friends, you're getting into relationships, whatever it may be. There's something about the sunlight that's drawing me in, though. The sun has set on somebody. Okay, and this is an older man in this picture. It doesn't have to be. It could be an older female. It's gender fluid in all of these. Just because it's a man doesn't mean it is, or vice versa. But I want to say that this was an elderly person. And the Two of Wands, they're an older person, and they might have needed, not necessarily a wand, but a cane or two. But I'm getting, the sunlight on their heads tells me sundowners. I believe that's a type of Alzheimer's, if I remember right. I'm not as familiar with it, but for any of you out there that might be missing somebody who had Alzheimer's, dementia, I completely relate. This card does remind me of a very rough time when, you know, my paternal grandmother had dementia. Several other family members on that side had it too, but we didn't really know how bad it was getting until my grandfather passed away. Once he went, we really started to notice that she wasn't well. She would call and talk about stuff, wouldn't always make sense, and she was wandering outside her home, confused, and sometimes calling the police because someone stole her couch. If you guys can relate, you know, like, drop me a comment, let me know. You know, and side note, you know, please like, subscribe if you enjoy these messages, because I will do more of them. And I will do requests, but I haven't had any so far. If someone wants me to read on a specific question, I'm happy to do that. I will find a way to make it work. But I wanted to, whoever this is, I think this could be an older male in here, not just because of the card, but I am getting the sense that there is a masculine that had sundowners before they passed. That sunlight on his head just like screams at me sundowners. So they may have had a lot of confusion, and they may have been okay like at certain parts of the day, but you know, as soon as the sun goes down, they get confused at night, and I can see how that could be a problem. You know, them not knowing where they are, or who's who, what's going on. And they know that you worried about them quite a bit. Some of you may have been caretaking them. You know, if you couldn't afford to have a nurse come in, or some type of person aiding them, or they didn't have a spouse taking care of them, you know, it could be really stressful for you. And I can understand that completely. Oh, my eyes are so dry. I was trying to wear a costume earlier. But yeah, definitely. And I think that they just didn't know where they belonged in the world, because once it went down, it was very confusing for them, and they felt a little bit lost. But they want you to know that they appreciated your help. And, you know, you see these two pillars out here, and that tells me that there's balance, and that you helped balance them out. You or a spouse, another relative, whoever was taking care of them, they show their gratitude for everybody who got involved, and they did feel like, you know, they were leveled out by the people who helped them. It kind of helped them last a little bit longer, because it's just a scary thing to lose your mind. And it was very scary for them. But once it was done and over, it's like, you know, they took a little time to have to heal on the other side to get back to that place where, you know, they're kind of sound mind and body. They finally got that clarity back again, where, you know, it was like an understanding, and they knew who they were, where they were, you know, they knew what happened. I think that they go through a bit of confusion even after death. I kind of got that sense with my grandmother after she passed. But this person is grateful for that, and they just want you to know that they know where they are now. They know where you are. I mean, he's got one hand out by this globe, and I think that he knows where the family is scattered to, and he or she, they, whoever it may be, there could be multiple of you having family members like this, because it just seems like it is a growing problem that people are having more and more of these memory issues, like dementia and Alzheimer's. But if your family member had sundowners, this is your message. They want you to know they love you, they appreciate what you did for them, and this is their way of saying, you know what, I'm doing all right. And two is a very good balancing act. You know, they're on their own 2 feet again, so to speak. I can kind of get an image of a masculine smiling. So they're happy. They're happy where they are now. They don't have to, they were just done. They were tired of it. They were tired of being confused and not feeling good and being poked and prodded, because, you know, they have to constantly be checked up on, and they felt like they were babysitted. And it's like, as an adult, you don't want that. They wanted to just do whatever they wanted to do, but they understood that they weren't aware. Now they are, and now they're in a state of gratitude and wanting to say thank you to you and the family for helping them. And they're okay. You don't need to worry, you know, if you worried about, I mean, were they aware that you were around when they passed? Because they didn't have much awareness, but they do now. Things got a lot cleared up. And this person may drop in on you once in a while. And I don't, cologne. You might smell some type of perfume, cologne. There's smells. They have smells with them. So when they drop in on you, you might just be sitting there and you're like, whoa, okay, who's smoking a cigarette? There's no smoking in this house or something. Or cigar. Cigar's a little bit more distinct because not a lot of people smoke cigars, at least that I know of, just randomly in the house, but I don't even know anybody who smokes those. At least nothing's coming to mind. But you get a smell with them, and I'm kind of paying attention to what he's wearing. He's got a robe on or something, so I don't know if you thought you saw this person out of the corner of your eye, like walking by with like a robe, like an open robe, like pajamas. Because, when they don't know which end is up, they don't give a crap at what they're wearing. They're just wearing their comfortable pajamas day in and day out. And maybe your relative did this. So, I mean, if it's helping you distinguish if this is the person you're thinking of, your departed loved one, and I hope it helps. So, that's very much appreciated. Let's see. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at something here. But that's kind of what I'm getting. If something else calls to me, I will say it. But I want to move on to the next one. The next one is the Nine of Swords. Ooh, scary. It's anxiety. You know what? Hold up. I realized what I did. When I told you this, I was looking at this image. It gave me a lot, but it was in reverse, let me just tell you. So, and that may... Huh. Oh, I know what's coming to me. Yeah. Sundowners. His world was upside down. Or she, or they. I mean, your relative's world was upside down. That makes sense. But I have to look at it right side up to try to get some imagery off of it. But yeah, that makes sense with it being in reverse too, because it's like they wouldn't know where to go, what to do. Okay. I had to correct that. So now we have, and I'm trying to pick this up, sorry. Nine of Swords. Now this is usually that anxiety, worries, fears, doubts, concerns. You can have nightmares. Some of you may be having scary dreams. But there's something else I got with this card immediately when I laid it down. And let's see, let me think about this. Oh, I take a sip of water so I don't lose my voice. When I got this, I kind of got this, some of you were questioning, not so much about fear, but you wanted to know if your loved one was afraid when death came for them. And depending how death came for them, she's in bed and everything, and this could have been in a hospital room or whatever, but I'm getting the fact that some of you had relatives that you knew, they lived a long, wonderful life, and they passed away in their sleep. Maybe it was just their time to go, natural causes. And so when their body shuts down, it's time for the spirit to move on. And you're sitting there going, well, what's death like? I'm afraid of death. And you're thinking, like, were they scared? Were they alone? No, not at all. You think that they go to sleep and they never wake up. And sometimes you think it's sad. I think it's one of the best ways to go, personally. If you've lived a long life, if you're happy and you went to sleep and you're at that ripe old age when it's time to just go and you slip away in your dreams and you end up in the spirit world, like, I think that's so much better than some of the more traumatic deaths that are out there. You don't want people to go in any kind of horrible, violent way or a traumatic way where their life is cut short. I know some people go to sleep and they end up having some type of brain aneurysm, and they can be so young, and it's so sad. But in a way, it happens so quickly that, at least as far as I understand, this is one of the ways where they don't suffer. There's no pain, no suffering. They just slip away in their sleep. And I think that is probably one of the better ways to go if you I prefer when people are older, of course. The young people I mourn for, because it's like, oh, you still had like quite a bit of life in front of you, or at least that's the way we feel. We don't know. Maybe their contract had them dying young. I mean, did they choose to do, about that? But they want you to know they weren't afraid. They went to sleep and they were sleeping really good, but then, maybe woke up, so to speak. I mean, their body didn't, but their spirit woke up. And when they don't realize it right away. But I do feel like in some cases, if they had a spouse that has passed on, if they're older, or other family members that have passed on before them, their family will show up and be like, hey, come on, come with me. And they're so happy. And sometimes their dog or cat will show up, or, or they're a friend they lost, or, somebody who meant a lot to them is going to show up, and they may be accompanied by angels. And this is what this card makes me think of, because my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, I lost both of my maternal grandparents to cancer. My grandfather was stubborn, didn't want to go to the hospital. Like, he didn't want to go to the doctor, but he started having all these problems, right? And, this is back in the 80s, and I was just a kid. Actually, I was barely born. I was only 2 years old when he passed. But he waited too long. He was having all these issues, physical issues, and he didn't want, no, I don't need a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And so he didn't go to the doctor. When he finally broke down and go, okay, I've got to go to the doctor, it was too late. He had months to live. The cancer had spread throughout his bile duct, and it spread to all of his organs. And unfortunately, it was too late. And back then, there wasn't much they could do for him. And so, he passed pretty quickly, unfortunately. And my grandmother, she survived for a few years, but when I was still pretty young. It wasn't, but I don't know how many years it was later, 6 or 7? I could be wrong, but I was still pretty young at the time. It was still in the 80s. My grandmother came down ill. She ended up being diagnosed with ovarian cancer, sadly. And I'm sorry. Try not to I'm not choking up or anything. It's been long enough, but I know that she's in a good place, because she comes through sometimes and advice. I still feel like I'm being scolded or told what to do sometimes. Oh man, she was a fierce woman. But so my grandmother, I don't know how long she went. I remember her having this curly, short red hair, but I never realized it was a wig at the time, that she had lost her hair due to the chemo. And I don't know if she did radiation therapy. She did a lot, but it makes you really sick. And I wasn't allowed to see her in the hospital. I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral because I was too young, and maybe they thought it was going to freak me out. But I wish sometimes that I had been allowed to go to deal with death, because I've never really dealt with it. I've never had to deal with it, and I know at some point I will. When closer family members go, it's going to have to be something that I have to plan and prep for and deal with in my own way. And I have no idea how I'm going to handle it. And I know that some of you feel the same way. But my grandmother, when she was in the hospital and she was really close to dying, I know that my mother and her siblings went to see her. And she told my mother about a dream she had. She had this dream shortly before her death that my grandfather came with angels, and they came to escort her to heaven. And I thought that was a beautiful way to go into the afterlife, the hereafter, the great beyond, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has their own name for it, depending on your beliefs. And I truly believe that he came to her in that dream, because a lot of nurses, and maybe if you're a nurse, you can tell me. I'd love to hear comments. I would love to hear stories about this. But nurses that are dealing with people who are dead, sometimes those people are talking to people that aren't there, or they're like, look, it's my dog Lucky, or, whoever. They have these experiences, and nurses have noticed it, and sometimes it creeps them out, and sometimes it's just a really cool thing, and they notice these things when they're about to pass. I truly believe this is what happened, because my grandmother passed not too long after that. And I believe that she was greeted at death by my grandfather. And once the hard part of passing from the physical to the ethereal, I think she took his hand, and escorted by angels, they went to the other side. And she hated cancer so much that she refuses to reincarnate. From what I understand, they're very happy over there, and they go square dancing. So it's a beautiful thing. That's what it reminds me of. And I think in these cases where they are sick or suffering, they're happy to go. They don't want to suffer. So please keep that in mind. Like, if your family members have suffered, or just when you're worried about, are they okay on the other side? Yes, they are. They were not okay when they were suffering in that hospital bed or in hospice or wherever it is that they went, if they decided to come home to die. They were sick. They were miserable. They were in pain. They suffered. But once death is so freeing for people that are going through that. So your loved one is like, nope, it wasn't scary. Death didn't come at me like this creepy thing right here. And you look at her face and she almost looks like it. She's kind of shocked, but then it's like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go. In this case, some people might be afraid of it, but not. What I'm seeing in this card is that your loved one passed peacefully, and it's not like some, Grim Reaper is not going to show up and like escort them. I mean, I don't know if it works that way or not. If somebody shows up wearing, like, looking like that, or, do they have is it a scythe? I don't even know if I say it right. I just don't want to say it wrong. But, a skeleton shows up wearing a black robe. No, I don't see it like that. Could there be an angel of death? Possibly, yeah. The angels have a lot of different jobs, so it doesn't surprise me that one would show up and be like, hey, I'm here to escort you over. Some people, fine. But I think the people who are prepared for death and ready for it, when they're ready to go, they get greeted and they get escorted. That's kind of what I believe. But to each their own. But your loved one was not afraid. They're fine. They didn't have any worries about that. I think the only thing that caused them all this worry and grief was like the suffering they were going through. But they're doing just fine now. And they're okay. On the other side, they're not feeling anything. No pain, no suffering, no nothing. They don't have a worry. And okay, now I'm getting Don't Worry, Be Happy. There by Bobby McTernan. Keep that song in your head when you think that they're worried, because they're not. So I'm happy for you, and hopefully you'll be happy for them that they're doing okay over there. Some of them might have chosen to reincarnate, but I don't know how long that process is. Or some people choose to spend a little time on the other side. Maybe they need to grow, heal, learn, whatever it is they're doing. Maybe they just want a break, and it's like a vacation before they decide to come back to Earth, if they choose that. Some people don't, like my grandmother. So in this case, we have the Five of Wands as the third card, and it's reversed. So in here we see, these almost look like zombies. It's like weird. But these spirits are obviously like almost tortured, or they're in they're in conflict. I don't know if they're challenging each other or they're fighting with each other. Whatever's going on, like, they just don't look. They're looking distressed. It's weird. So the Five of Wands is usually about some type of conflict. It can be about, struggles and overcoming things. And for me in this card particularly, some of you obviously struggled with your loved ones. And this comes out a lot in these readings, because that's the one thing we worry about. We lose somebody close to us and we go, crap, we fought before we, were separated by death, and my family member was upset with me. I don't know if they forgive me. We never got to make amends. That's something that happens with a lot of people, and it sits on a lot of people. And I just want you to know, this card is in reverse. So the conflict is done and over. I mean, they're done with earthly shit. Let me just say, they don't need to deal with it anymore. Ultimately, they get to the other side, and a lot of that doesn't matter anymore. And the relationships that they had with you and the other people, friends, family, and romantic relationship, everything, I think that they just take whatever lessons they need to from it. There's still a lot of love there. And it's like, no, when they get over there, if they do linger, or, they check in on you and they see that you're fretting over the fact that, you're like, oh, I don't know if they forgave me. I didn't get to say I'm sorry. And they're like wanting to say sorry, but they don't get that closure because you're not there to say it's okay. And I say you're not there. The spirit is not there to tell you that. However, they are there. Some cases, they're like, stop. Don't do that. They say, stop fretting over it. Stop stressing out. Don't be this distressed mode like that you're in. Just stop. They're like, you know what? It's petty squabbles. It's not important. They want you to know they love you. I'm getting the name Mike. That's random. Okay. I don't know if Mike means anything to anybody, but let me know. And now I'm getting like two men arguing, and I don't know if this is like brothers, father and son, or you know, it's like, I don't know if you're related or not, but I can't see them too clearly. One might have a mustache on him, but one seems a little bit older, one seems a little bit younger. Not that that matters. It could be the mustache making you look older. I don't know. But I'm getting two men that had argued, and like I can almost hear it, but it's kind of like it's muffled, so it's like I can't really hear what's being said. But I can tell you that it's petty squabbles. I'm like, you're arguing over stupid stuff. And that's the way they feel about it. They're like, it's stupid shit. Don't waste your worries, your life, like worrying about it. They want you to move on and know that, hey, it's all water under the bridge. It's done. It's over. You know, I'm dead now. So, you know, they're like, sorry. I'm sorry that, you know, I made you worry with this petty crap that we went through. But they don't, you know, they're like, it's all forgiven. It's forgiven. So let it go. Let it go. And now I'm getting let it go frozen. Somebody has a sense of humor. That's kind of funny. Fives are about changes, and life changed. And their spirit changed. It's time to move on. They've moved on because they had no choice, but they're like, they don't want you to sit there. They're not going to let things hold them back. They need to move forward, you know, in their second life, and they need, you know, making amends and all that. I know that sometimes that's important, and it may be a lesson, but the little things don't matter. If it was a major thing, then I could see. If it caused a huge rift or something like that. But if these petty squabbles are like, you know, it's the last thing I said to them and I wish that we'd had a better conversation with. I get it. That would make anybody feel bad, but they don't want you to feel bad. So keep that in mind. Like, don't try to be like, okay, you know what? It's water under the bridge. I forgive you. Like, don't worry about it. And they want you to do the same. So however it works out for you, just work it out in a way where you can sense them telling you it's okay. They want you to know, and they'll try to tell you in whatever way they can. But you may not easily get the message if you're not open to it. But maybe you'll see a sign or have a dream or something where they give you a hug and just say, don't worry about it. So let me know if that happens, because I love the visitation dreams. So the next card we have is the Page of Swords. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. The Knight of Swords. Whoops. The page, this almost looks like more, it's funny because the knight's represented by a horse head, but the page is represented by what looks like a knight's helmet. So it confuses me every time. Every time. But this is the Knight of Swords. And he's racing, you know, forward. You know, he's got his defense up. He's ready to attack. And the moon is behind him with some clouds. So someone here was lacking in taking action because it was in reverse. That's simply put. That is simply put. But your loved one, you know, it's funny. I'm getting Renaissance Fair from this. So you might have had loved one that loved going to the Renaissance Fair. They might have loved the jousting competition, because that's kind of where I'm getting. I'm getting this image of them, but instead of like the sword, they've got the big joust. They're watching these people joust at the Renaissance Fair. And they're walking around with a big turkey leg and chewing on it. And it's like they would spend a whole day at this place doing that. And they kind of were fascinated with medieval times and, you know, knights and things. And they probably, I don't know if your loved one got to or not, but I get that they wanted to go overseas and like check out all those really cool old castles, or like England has the, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Not like the London Bridge. Is that it? I don't know. Well, they had all these castles and they wanted to go see the dungeons and like those old fashioned devices that they were torture devices and things. You can find them at like Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's around the country, but like this person was fascinated with this. And for someone else, they may have had a love of horses and riding horses. They may have, somebody could have been a jockey, or it could have been one of those people that likes to professionally, they ride like the obstacle course. I don't know if the proper name, because I don't watch this stuff, but you know, the horse has to jump over these obstacles. So I could see something like that. You might have loved the horse races too, for all I know. A lot of people love the horse races. Especially I'm getting quarter horse. So maybe somebody liked a quarter horse races. I don't know. It's weird because I mean I don't know the difference between a quarter horse and this horse. Like I could tell you, oh my gosh, see I can't remember the name now, but like when Budweiser does those commercials with the big giant horse breed, like that's the different one. I could kind of tell the difference between those, but you know, the little bitty horses, I don't know. Like Shetland ponies, like I might know that one, but I don't know the breeds. I don't know the differences in them, so forgive me, but if you had somebody that loved horses, let's just know I'm talking about your person. If your person was the one on the horse, like that loved the medieval times and they like to collect armor or, you know, the weapon, or like they want, like the Renaissance Fair, you can go there and they will be like doing metalsmithing. That's like one of the coolest things you can watch. And then you get like a big piece of that carborundum. I don't know if I'm saying it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. That carborundum. I have it. It's beautiful. It's like a black rock, but it's like these different metals that have mixed together from the process of doing the metalsmithing, and it drips off and it lands, and then they get these big pieces of it, and it's just so beautiful. It's black, but yet it's iridescent and rainbowy. You know, thanks to the metals in it. Is rainbow even a word? I don't know. But I think it's one of the most beautiful like specimens of metal and rock or whatever you want to call it. Minerals. I'm not sure what you want to call it. Again, not good with this stuff. I love collecting crystals, but I couldn't tell you everything I have. You know, I've got fool's gold and stuff like this right now in here. You know, and I have a tektite. Supposedly this is kind of like a piece of meteorite or something. I'm not sure. Citrine, you know, selenite. I've got stuff like that. I'm still learning. So that's just me. But I think it's carborundum, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But that stuff is amazing. You can buy it for $5 or $10, like big pieces, small pieces at the Renaissance Fair. I always love like the old-fashioned root beer and stuff there. And they have some good drinks, but like me, I'm a funnel cake girl, so I love that stuff. I'm not a turkey leg person, but this person loved turkey legs, and I'm like, okay, I think it's a bit chewy, but go ahead. But in life, they loved it. And, you know, there's a possibility that in a past life that person could have been a knight, you know, like the knight at the round table. They could have been a warrior of some type that protected a castle. It would not surprise me. You know, we have many past lives. We're all at different stages in where our lives are. And so we're constantly learning lessons and growing, and every past life has its own importance. Some are more important than others. Some might seem pretty simple, but maybe it was just a simple, peaceful life, and you learn a lesson of how to live in peace. And others could be very tumultuous and, you know, volatile and filled with war and violence and things like that. And that teaches us too a different way. And then over the years, you kind of just balance that karma out throughout your lives, and you kind of, I think you just become a more enlightened soul. It's the best way to put it. But this person definitely liked all that stuff. And I don't know, but I see, okay, there's like a full moon here that's glowing. You might have seen this person, like some of you might see the shadows out of the corner of your eye or something, or like the spirit. If they do haunt you, you know, some people might be experiencing a haunting. So you might see this person come about like this, and it's, oh wow, okay. I'm actually seeing, no, okay, though, that's still the horse's legs. I thought there was another horse there for a minute. I thought we were actually seeing like almost like the shadow of one next to it. But you see like it's all cloudy and kind of like, it's overcast and cloudy across the moon, and everything's kind of glowing and misty, like it just showed up. So you might experience, if this person never got to experience something like this, or if you're experiencing them as this person that is kind of faint, like a lit up outline like that, where it's lit up, but you can't really make out much else about them. Their spirit forms can be different. Some people show up as like a bluish white, it almost reminds me of a neon light, but it's like a blue outline, and then you can kind of make them out, but they're see-through, so it's really hard to tell. I've seen a lot of this in my dreams, not with my naked eye, but this could be a similar thing for you. And then the mist, you might see like a fog, a mist, something like that could show up sometimes, or it could show up in your pictures. This could be them showing up in your picture saying, hey, I'm dropping in, hi. Pay attention to your holiday and special occasion photos, because your loved one usually want to show up at those times. You have a wedding, take a picture. Christmas, take a picture. Always just take a picture. And so the next one, and that one was in reverse, but I don't know if it matters. I honestly don't know if it matters. This person can't, they don't, I don't know. It's in reverse, so if you think that, maybe this person didn't get to see, like, their bucket list, if they wanted to go see the Tower of London and all of that cool armor and the knight stuff, and they never got to, don't worry about it. That's the only thing that I get when it's reversed. I'm like, okay, so they didn't take action, or maybe it was too expensive and they just couldn't afford to go, but they love that stuff. Just know that they cherish the memories they had of those Renaissance fairs that you guys always went to, but they're free as a bird over there now, and they can go wherever they want. Just think about it. They could go see the 7 wonders of the world. They could check out other planets. Like, I don't know what the restrictions are, if there are any. I feel like there's a lot of freedom when you're a free soul. You can drop in and go anywhere. They could probably even go under the ocean, although that's kind of scary to me, but I don't know if you have permission to go check out all that stuff. But once you're just a spirit, a soul, you moved on to the other side, I don't see why you can't. If you can, go back to school or be in a hospital to heal your soul, or if you want to learn how to fly a plane or go square dancing like my grandparents, like, why can't you go travel? That's one thing I think that people get the chance to do when they're on that side. They get to show up places. And I think that's where we get some of the weird, paranormal videos and stuff. Like, that's random. Like, this person's just showing up here and they're an outline and they're like, what are they doing on the Great Wall of China? But there they are. So some people attribute to a haunting, but others it's like, well, what if a soul just got the chance to show up and be like, I want to see this. I want to see the hanging gardens of whatever. I want to go to Venice and see the water, the canals. There's so many things that I would personally do. Like, I would want to go check out a volcano and, I would want to do so much stuff. I would be checking out Greece and, the Parthenon. I'd be in Italy, and there might be, it's funny, we had a conversation about if there was restrictions of where you could go to, but it's funny, some spiritual people and I were talking about it, and they think that you're restricted, even if as a spirit, astral traveling, or whether you're dead, you still don't have access to the Vatican and the secrets in it. And I'm like, why not? I guess they have it protected, or they think it's protected by, some high level whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting concept, but don't worry about it. Your friend has the capacity to go see some of the things he wanted to. I don't think anybody's going to keep him out of the castles. So if he wants to show up and check out all the cool castles and do that, like, I don't know what he can be offered, but to get the chance to actually be a part of something that you could only dream of, reliving that past life and something that I think all of it makes sense once you're on the other side, but it's very confusing for us over here in the living because we don't understand it all. And we're not supposed to. We may not even have the brain capacity to understand everything that we could possibly know about the other side. It might be too much for our bodies. So, there's pros and cons to looking. But this one is the 5 of Swords. This is the next card. Then this is usually about, this person's happy because they bested somebody. They bested him in what? In an argument, in someone's feeling really good about this. And it's funny because it's another 5, just like this one. They're telling you to let go and move on. And this one was reversed too. So, and it's another card about, look, the storm's moving on. There's a rainbow here. Rainbow comes out after the rain. So after this person passed, I think there's once again like, oh, we were arguing and I don't know, some of you lost 2 people because there's 2 spirits here and one guy's living. And so I feel like, I don't know. I kind of feel like in this case, Usually it's kind of like conflict when it's upright, but I feel like it's this was in reverse. So what I'm going to tell you, the difference between these two cards is that this person didn't get the chance. They're still kind of tortured because they didn't get the chance to say, oh, I'm sorry, or work things out or make amends. This one did. You know, the swords are down. He's holding these swords up, but they're not being held in a defensive stance. He's smiling, but I'm going to say in this case, I don't think he's being a smug asshole about it. He's standing upright. He's standing tall. He's proud. He's smiling. The other two people are walking on. They're moving on. And these two people, I think the swords put down. I feel like they worked out their differences. And I feel like this person, he lost two people, but whoever they were that he fought with, whether it's, you know, brothers or uncles or father figure, it could be relative, could be friends, could be whoever. This young man was able to tell these older, and they look like older men from here, from the back, because one of them looks like he has a beard, but this young man was able to best them, but you know what? He made things right. He went to them when they were on their deathbeds, and he was like, you know, I'm sorry for the things that were said, and they worked it out. They forgave each other, and then they had a good time reminiscing before, you know, his relatives or friends moved on. So your loved ones basically are telling you, hey, thanks for coming and fixing all of that. They may have come to you, or you may have gone to them, and you were blessed with this moment in time where you were able to work things out. I think that's why there's a rainbow, and they're going to walk under the rainbow when the storms pass. So they're walking under the rainbow, and they're walking into the great beyond, the great blue, whatever you want to call it. And this guy's happy because he's like, you know, he feels good because he was able to make peace with them before they went. So he doesn't have it weighing on him now that they're gone. And that's why it's in reverse, because upright is usually about challenges and obstacles and changes and all of that. But it's good. Everybody's happy here in this card. So if you're watching and you're wondering, it's like, yeah, they're still good. Everything's good. They moved on. They were able to move on without anything weighing on them, and you're able to move on in life without it weighing on you. So congrats. They're like, yeah, I'm fine. The name Jesse's coming up. I don't know why, like Jesse. That's the spelling, of course. I was expecting to be an I in there, but I'm just kind of seeing that in my head. I'm seeing a redheaded masculine, short hair. Doesn't appear to have any facial hair that I can tell. The freckles, though, you'll know the freckles. I'm trying to see if I see anything else or like get anything else. I don't know if this is your person, like they've moved on, they're fine. And then we have the last one. It looks like a knight, but it's not. It's a page because they don't have a horse or weapon. It's the Page of Pentacles. This is a message card. It's a messenger. So, of course, hey, your loved ones are like, hey, not to be direct here, but I'm sending you a direct message. I'm being literal. I don't know if somebody's trying to be sarcastic or literal in a funny way. I don't know, but they're being funny. And they're telling you, yeah, I've got this pentacle here. They are, I don't know, I want to say they're bringing you abundance. Maybe they left you something of, like a plate. Because the pentacle looks like a round plate to me. And my grandparents, when we had to clean out their house, I found some beautiful pieces of glassware and stuff that I was like, you know, I don't know how genuine this is, if it's worth anything, but I chose a few pieces to keep that I could use for special occasions, and I wanted to make use of it. You know, my maternal grandmother family came from Germany. Bavaria, to be specific. If we want to go back to my ancestry and my DNA, that's kind of the more specific place we came from is Bavaria, but I'm sure it's around. I had ties to Luxembourg. I had ties to Liechtenstein. I don't know if I said that right. I'm hoping I did. I'm 1/8 German. My great-grandmother was full-blooded. But when my grandmother passed away, she was half. But they had some pretty things, so they may have left you some type of antique. And I feel like, because I want to say inheritance, but you inherited something, but it wasn't quite money. But it could be worth money. So, you know, Antique Roadshow, everybody, let's see. But they did leave you an antique, and it might be something really unique and beautiful that could have come from where they came from. It could be the home state, but I'm thinking it might have been something that they brought with them if they migrated over from, you know, when their family and their ancestors migrated from Europe, a lot of people did. But in this case, your family member could have come from Africa, they could have come from Asia, anywhere. And so, I mean, I had a great aunt that passed away at 106, and her husband had traveled the world. They'd gone to Africa, and they'd gotten this beautiful blue glassware from Russia and different places, and there's some beautiful things. And there's even a choker that was made out of, it looks like, could be real ivory. It was a carving, and it looked like it came from Japan or some kind of Asian country, and it was probably worth like $500. It was worth a lot. But it seems to be passed down through, marriages in my family. And it's something like, I don't know that I would want to sell it, that I definitely I would like to keep the tradition going, if and when I get married. So there's something important here that they're leaving you. So they may have left you a note or a message. You could have one of those relatives that actually left you a message, like through a tape, CD, something like that. Or even if it was just, maybe you have like a voicemail with their voice on it, and you like to listen to it sometimes. Taking a water. So that's what I'm getting with this card as well. Okay, I've gone a lot longer than I meant to, but this person is just sending you a message that they hope that you hang on to it, and that you pass on this antique or whatever it is that they left you, however big or small it is. It's meaningful. They want you to enjoy it, to use it, to display it, or pass it on to your own children. That's something your ancestors want you to do. That seems to be the message which is in there. So they've sent it to you. They've passed on. It's come into your hands now. So they hope that you'll take care of it for them. And they're really, really happy that you accepted it and that you're looking after it, taking care of it. They're very proud of you. So most of these people are just like, don't stop having all the worries. They just want you to know that they love you and they're proud of you. With that last message, I'm going to get into the oracle cards, if I can talk. And I got this, the Universe Ascendant Oracle. It's so funny. Everybody, see how she's got these ties on her hands? These pearls and she is tied to the universe. Everybody is tied to the universe. It's almost like a collective consciousness, and it's like the universe, and you got the world, and it looks like the moon in front of it. So we are all connected throughout the cosmos. The universe has aligned in a way that things that happen in your life are happening intentionally. And sometimes our loved ones, as long as they are fully passed on, once they fully passed on and whatever they do over there, sometimes they can become guides for us, or sometimes they could become guardian angels, and sometimes they're just spirits over there that they pop in and check on us once in a while when they're enjoying their free time on the other side. I think they do look in on us, especially if things are happening and they want to bring us, love and comfort and just that presence of knowing, hey, I'm here still. I haven't left you. I'm always around, just not the way you think. So, and I feel like this is saying universally, they sometimes are given the option to play a role in your life, in like active life decisions. I don't know how to explain this. The best thing I can think of is how sometimes, this person has chosen to reincarnate back into your particular soul, tribe, family, whatever you want to call it. And they may want to be reborn into another family related to you or something. Like a child, an older person passes away and then they are reborn as somebody's grandkid or something. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. But they do get options to do that. Or maybe they get options to kind of help you out. Like, they really want this job. And they might be able to cause some synchronicities that help you. Sometimes I think they're given permission to do that. But I don't know how it works. It's just what I'm getting from the card. Moonology says your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. I got this before. But in this case, I don't think this has anything to do with a job. And your hard work is paying on. This is your doing the work to honor your ancestors, your friends, family, and loved ones that have moved on. but it's also the hard work that you've done in mourning, because mourning doesn't go away. Depending on how they died or how close you were to somebody, it sticks with you for life sometimes. And you may be doing some type of grief counseling or part of a support group. Good for you. Good for you, because that is you doing the work, and that's paying off, because you're getting to a place where acceptance, and it always makes you feel more comfortable to get these messages, because it's like they're not really gone. They're still here. So you don't have to accept the death, except for anything for what it is. How do I say this? I mean, it's just the body that is shut down and done. The earthly body is done, but they are still over there soul-wise. The soul is still alive, and it's a whole new adventure, new life, and they want you to know that. And they're proud of you for doing the work, because they're like, I can't get through to them because they're so, their grief creates a block. So don't create a block with your grief. Grieve. They want you to grieve as needed. They know you're sad, and they try to offer you comfort, but it's okay to move on. It's okay to move on, and they want you to celebrate their life and think of the good times, the good memories, anything that makes you laugh. They want that for sure. I said it wasn't about moving, but it says move. But this card is Saints and Angels, Guardian Angel. Your guardian angel wants you to move. If you've been in a slump because you're depressed over losing someone, they want you to get up. They want you to listen to music, to go walking, to exercise, to do something. Movement. They want movement. They might want you to do, I am getting that they might want you to focus on yoga, chakras, stuff like that. Pay attention to your intuition, any messages you might be getting. It's going to help you to heal and to move on. So they want you to move on, but there's a lot of ways to do it. So raise those vibrations and it'll start to happen. I've got a past life card, lessons and blessings. And a lot of these people, a lot of your loved ones that have passed on have had exactly this. There's been a lot of lessons, a lot of blessings, but when their time's up, those things don't necessarily end. They just start a new adventure on the other side. There's more lessons over there. If they choose to reincarnate, there's more human lessons they got to come back and learn. But there's always blessings. And they're always showing you the love. So, and time is not important on that side. It's important here, but over there, yeah, they'll be watching you forever. And then when you get over there, you'll understand. They're like, just enjoy your life in the meantime. Rumi says, number 21, Sacred Phoenix Heart. I love this. This tells me 21 reduces to 3. And 3 can be about friendships and collaboration and, I'm trying to think what else it means. Working together. It can be working as a whole team. Not like just 2 people, but more than 2. But I love this because Sacred Phoenix Heart, it's beautiful. Reminds you to stay grounded with the beautiful reds. And up here, I can't tell if it's white, which is crown is the knowing, but I'm looking at the colors, but the phoenix itself is someone who passes away and rises from the ashes. This is telling me that for some of you, your loved ones have decided to reincarnate, and they've decided to live again. Whether that's here on Earth or elsewhere, they have decided to reincarnate. So if you're wondering why they don't come around anymore, you're like, they used to, but I haven't seen them. That's because they've learned, and you've gotten healthy enough to move on, and they don't need to pop in on you all the time. They've decided for themselves what they want. So they want you to love them and support them with that. Just know once they moved on, they're somebody else now. And so they're probably going through the amnesia of being a new person, being born in the world. So who knows? Your person is out there being reborn into a new family. It's kind of fascinating when you think about how it's supposed to work, but nobody really knows how exactly it works. We all have ideas, but I try to stay open-minded because you never know. Somebody can blow my mind with just, having me think about something in a different way. So keep those perspectives open. The color card is Pearl. Connect to the divine at number 25. 25 reduces to 7. 7 is about reflecting. So in order to connect to the divine, to connect to your loved ones, reflect on those beautiful memories and those funny stories and things. And if you're laughing and smiling and thinking about them, that's a great way to connect to them and to know that they love you and they know that you love them and miss them. And you can kind of get that back from them. You get that message, that knowing that they do care. And it's a good feeling. So the readings of, here's some channeled messages from my deck I made. It says, please don't carry guilt about words or actions that weren't taken while I was alive. It's all forgiven now. That goes with that 5 of Wands in reverse. It's all water under the bridge. It's forgiven. It's done. It's over. Move on. Then we have, please don't cry. I haven't left you. I'm here offering comfort in your time of need. That explains it for some of you that are missing them right now. I mean, they know that you're just about to pop a blood vessel with crying so much and you're in heavy mourning, but they're with you. And if you kind of feel their presence, they're trying to comfort you, but you got to let them move on at some point. So, you know, enjoy the comfort while you can, but at some point they're going to have to go and you don't want to keep them here. It's just not the place. Sometimes they have other things they need to go and do, but there's always a time period given to you for mourning. So take the time that you need. And they always pop in to be with you whenever you're going through rough things. Don't waste a minute. Live your life. That's the other thing. They want to go. They want to move on. And some people are kind of like just, you had a family member that's like, no, don't waste a minute. Live your life. You know, seize the day. Isn't that what they say? They want you to go out there and grab life by the balls. and have fun and live and play and, you know, enjoy it. Build your relationships. Have adventures. Oh, this is funny. I still go shopping with you. I laugh at the jokes you still tell me. Somebody here, you know, used to go shopping with somebody. I don't know. This could be grocery store. It could be just buying clothes or whatever. Maybe you went shopping for the holidays together because the holidays are coming up. And you used to joke around. You guys would be whispering and joking to each other and funny stories. And you see something or someone that would make you laugh, like the people of Walmart or something. I don't know. And you'd end up telling jokes and you guys would be laughing hysterically. And everybody would think that you were like, what is wrong with those people? But, you know what? That's whoever it is that resonates with you, because I get that. I still think of funny jokes that people tell me when they're not around. Even if they're still alive, I still laugh like that. So if they're not here anymore, they want you to remember those funny jokes and to keep laughing about it. I have decided to reincarnate as I have more lessons to learn. There you go. So for some of you, they've definitely reincarnated. That goes along with that Phoenix card that we got. They are being reborn into a new life to just take it on again. They're going to try to learn some more. Nothing wrong with that, but that's their message to you, so you know. And then it says, I should have shown you more love when I was alive. Yeah. Yeah, you know, those bitter things. And a lot of you seem to, I didn't get a lot of, you know, problems coming out of this, but some of you had conflict you didn't get to resolve, and some of you did. But either way, some of those people are like, yeah, I should have loved you more. I should have been more open. I should have, you know, talked to you and communicated better. But some of you've got that worked out. And the ones who don't, the person is telling you, like, I should have shown you more love. And so they're letting you know, I'm sorry, I love you. You should know that now. Don't worry about it being anything other than that. So I hope you enjoyed your Day of the Dead messages. Until next time, guys. Bye.